Hi, this is Mark from the Fireside Talks Hearthstone podcast, and you're listening to Concede.
Greetings.
Hello.
Greet.
My greetings.
Well met.
I greet you.
Greetings, traveler.
Greetings, friend.
The pleasure is mine.
Hello and welcome everyone to episode 102 of Concede, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. My name is Kenny and I go by KCCO Gamer. And all the way from Thunder Bluff, Louisiana, we have Cinder.
That's me.
And from Maelstrom, Louisiana, we have Appa.
How's it going, everybody?
And joining us from Gadgets and New York, we have RidiculousHat.
That's me.
I just, every time I say the Maelstrom, I just think of everything that's going down in the southeast right now.
No.
Yeah. We should maybe have changed that.
Yeah.
Go home, Jose. You're drunk.
Yes. Hasn't enough happened already, you know?
For those of you who don't know, the Maelstrom is the place in World of Warcraft where the shamans exist. It's their base place. So that's why it's the Maelstrom, Louisiana. The shaman is my bay.
Because the shaman god lives there. That's right.
All right, so let's start this off. Concede is in a large part supported by you, the listener. If you'd like to find out how you can support us, head on over to patreon.com/CoinConcede and check out the rewards. You may like some stuff that's there. And yeah, let us know what you think. Let's talk a little bit about the ladder this week. I hit rank dad, so I've made some progress here.
Rank dad? Just
rank dad.
It's not a number, it's just dad.
It's a state of mind.
Okay, fair enough.
I should change. I should put rank handyman, basically, because I'd say I've been building stuff and unpacking and fixing things, and but no, I got a coaching in. I did some playing. I decided to switch from standard to wild, so I've been getting my wilds back up because I didn't play that for the last 2 months, and been having fun playing different decks. I'm going to be playing a lot more priest, and yeah, I shared a cool deck with Hat the other day, so I'll be playing more of it and let him know how that goes in standard. I mean in wild, I should say.
Wow,
it's too wild. All right, so Hat, what about you? Let's hear about your week.
Are we reversing convention? Scandalous.
Yeah, it happens.
So I hit rank 5 a little while ago. I've been trying to play as much Razaka's priest as I can. I have 8 golden classes, then my priest was sitting at like 190. So I got to work on that. I'm up to a little bit over 200. I've been playing as much Razaka as I can. The mirror is trying in a lot of ways. But the deck is more skill intensive than it seems and more consistent than it seems. There's a lot of cycle involved and a lot of tight navigation of difficult situations, which I really enjoy. I had a game yesterday where Anduin was card number 30, actually. And that was a little frustrating, but learning the deck has been enjoyable and it's quite powerful. And if you do get Raza and you do get Anduin early, it feels pretty unbeatable. So I've been doing what I can, kind of learning what is my last new class that I'm gonna try and figure out. It's been pretty rewarding. The games take a lot longer, so it takes some adjusting.
It takes time. I've had to kind of do the adjustment to playing priest because that's not normally what I play. But it's fun. What about you, Appa?
I hit the rank 10 floor. I've just been kind of goofing off there, playing some new stuff, having fun while we're waiting for nerfs to go through. Because I don't really feel like playing like the best decks right now. I've played them a ton, like Druid and Priest and stuff. Aggro Druid too, like Jade and Aggro. So I just been, I don't know, just testing new decks. Just like focusing on having fun mostly on ladder right now.
It's all about having fun. No problems about that. And Cinder, what about you?
I did much the same. I hit the rank 10 floor and decided to to goof around while I was there, especially after I watched the APAC Summer Playoffs, and tournament regular Tom Sisso 229 had Kazakis Cruel Warlock in his lineup, and he top forward, and I'm like, that's my man right there. I need to start playing that again because that is a fun deck.
It's frustrating to play against, though. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I've played against a couple of them.
Yeah, the
But
deck is
it's
definitely
fun.
unusual.
Cool. We said we were going to go over coaching highlights. Did you guys want to go over any highlights this week?
All of mine are like upcoming, so I don't actually have any so far.
We'll get you in upcoming weeks then. No worries. Anything come to mind, Hat? Real quick.
So I wasn't on last week. I know we're switching more to discussing highlights because we have a crazy volume of coaching, but Hatch and Slash and I played some really tight games with Jaina Control Mage. And I don't know if it just feels like a highlight because of how the deck operates, because every single game it seems like we stabilized at about 3 life and then gained a bunch back. But beating Pirate Warrior with that deck feels like a highlight because it's narrow margins, just like navigating these really tight corridors, and playing that felt like a lot of fun at the end after we came out on top.
That's always a good feeling. That now Hatch and Slash wasn't the person who got the golden mage, was it? It was somebody else this week. I feel like someone just crafted it. I can never remember who it was though.
It might have been Hatch. I don't remember for sure. But I mean, Golden Jaina is Bana.
There you go. All right, and Cinder, what about you? Any highlights?
Mine are to be scheduled. I kind of scheduled things a little later just in case we ran afoul of that big old hurricane that ran up Florida, because sometimes they like to just fake out Miami and then head into the Gulf, and then we gotta run. So like, let me put up to the end of the month. But TG Raider and Samurai Flea, if you hear my voice, please respond to your scheduling email so we can get your coaching in. And I also want to speak for Butticus. He got like 4 or 5 coachings in, and his the people who got coached by him were very vocal that he did excellent. So if you have a coaching coming up next month and you want to try somebody new, try Butticus, because he's been slaying it.
Yeah, he's been casually coaching me when he drops into my games and like asking questions, and he's at rank 1 right now. So I would definitely.
Nope, legend.
I missed that. Well,
he just hit it
on the 13th.
Literally.
Yeah, he's playing the Keliseth Elemental Rogue, which is actually really good.
He hit legend with Rogue this month?
Yes.
I'm gonna be a patron of this show.
He sent me the list. It's pretty good. I was watching him play it.
Yeah, I'll probably play it some myself too. It's real good.
Yeah, definitely check out that guy.
Since we're kind of throwing out names here, I want to say if you're interested in playing some arena, we have Sage that has offered to do some coachings for us too. And I was going to hit this in the news. He actually he was like averaging 7.4 wins in arena the last month. So he's really good. And I know some people were asking about it in the past. So if you're listening to this and maybe you were hesitating on becoming a patron because of the coach, your arena's your gig, then maybe that may push you over the edge. He's really good, and we'll be in contact with him if you need to get a coaching in arena. So.
And Kenny is also kind of our wild specialist too. So if you want coaching on wild, like request Kenny. He spends most of his time there, so he knows it better than anybody.
Yeah, I'll definitely be spending the rest of my games in wild, I think, from here going on, because I'd like to take that corner, that niche in the podcast, and kind of keep an eye on that and bring it to the table for those that are maybe strictly wild. So I may try and push for legend if I have time at the end. I've been doing a lot of projects, but we'll see. It depends on how well I do.
Handyman legend comes first.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I just finished building a desk for the older one, just for when school starts back up. He has a place to do homework and his computer and stuff. So, alrighty. We didn't have any new pledges this week, but definitely go check out those rewards again. let's go ahead and hit the news. We have several items this week. All right. So the first thing I'm going to mention here is the Hearthstone or the HCT Summer Championships are now being held in Los Angeles. I was really close to debating on getting this. Really close. They're giving away there's like a Hearthstone bag, like a duffel bag kind of. It looks kind of cool. It's like kind of themed for this set, I guess. I don't know if you've seen it. And they also they're gonna give you a card back and stuff too. That's for the full weekend though. If you buy just like a single day, I don't think you get the bag, but you can go to Universe, yeah, and check that out. I'll link it in, or someone will link it in Twitch here. So go check that out. That's going to be on, when was it? Do you remember? October 15th.
Middle of October.
Friday the 13th, Sunday the 15th. And they're also going to throw it on Twitch as well.
And I think that actually the bigger part of that is the fact that it's being held in Los Angeles at Blizzard's new esports arena.
Yeah.
That they're going to have the Overwatch leagues based there, a bunch of different stuff going on, but Hearthstone as well. So like this plus World Championships will be there. And honestly, like I think it was $40 for a weekend pass.
Yeah. But
that duffel bag is like easily worth 40, like if not much more. That's a really nice bag.
It looks nice. And the prize pool for it's $250,000 as well. So this is basically kind of the last call for HCT, I'd say. Yeah. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Let's see. The Global Games has Blizzard put out an infographic. It wasn't by Blister Guy, the infographic king, but they threw out an infographic on Hearthstone Global Games, and that there were some pretty cool stats here. Cinder, did you see anything that kind of caught your eye? Because I know you like stats and stuff.
It was a lot. There was like a ton of numbers they threw into this thing, but there was some really cool stuff. Like the most successful class being Druid may not be a surprise, but you got to remember that they had to play. Each match they had to at least take every single class, right? So it's not like they could just ignore the underperforming decks. But then the second most highest performing after that is Hunter. Also, like Druid's 54.7 and Hunter was 54%.
I don't think it was with the number of classes played. I think it was the most successful.
Most successful. So and of course, 54% of Hunter wins. How many of those were Epsilon playing Sarah Hunter?
I hope all of them.
You would hope. But yeah, there's just a ton of stuff in here. 37 Jade Idols played in a single game, Greece versus Slovakia. Why did that even be allowed to be happen? Like, why? But yeah, it's cool. It's definitely worth checking out if you like to have the details plucked out of the events.
It's fun to kind of go and check out.
I think the interesting thing, Hat and I were actually talking about this. We were going back and forth a little bit. So the most played neutral card was Firefly. Yeah. Almost doubling the score of Acolyte of Pain and Tar Creeper.
It's just good.
But remember when the most played neutral card used to be Azure Drake, and it was way, way over this number, that neutral cards have been kind of depowered a little bit, which has made deck building more diverse in terms of class versus class, but I wonder if that means that the neutral cards are not able to compete with the class cards.
Yeah, on average, it seems like the neutral cards are definitely worse than the class cards, but there are some exceptions to that, especially like if you're in a specific class, there's like things that you'll play that other classes won't, like is it Grave Shambler? Is that the one we were talking about?
Yeah, Grave Shambler, which is the 4-mana 4/4. When a weapon breaks, it gets +1/+1.
Yeah, there's like hidden class cards in the neutral section. Like that would be a rogue card mostly. But yeah, it seems like they've definitely depowered neutral cards a lot since like they rotated Azure Drake out and stuff.
All right. We'll move on to the next one here. So the Tavern is now open for Octoberbrawl. So I don't know if you guys got your card backs and been playing with them. As of, was it the 12th? It looks like the Dark got 7 packs and Light's got 3.
Yeah,
No, as of the 13th.
team Void.
Yeah.
Team Void, yeah.
It's
Like,
interesting how those teams are composed.
You don't put like two of the happiest, most enjoyable people on Team Void, and then like 2 of the saltiest people on Team Light, and expect a fair fight as far as card backs go.
Yeah.
I just picked Team Void because I really like the color of the card back.
Yeah, I like it better than the other one too. That could be part of it. Who knows? So next thing I wanted to mention, they did announce the top Hearthstone players. I'll throw the link up here in a bit, but I did want to note I thought it was funny. The number one player in Standard was always Lucky.
Yep.
Yeah, always Lucky. Seemed right. Seems perfect. And shout out to Cream Puff for making, was it top 140?
Yeah, he's like 130 something.
It was like 139 or something,
Yeah.
something like that. So shout out to him, and they include the Wild and Arena as well. So shout out to Ray Gannis Prime for making top 100 in Wild, our very own producer. Actually going to be coaching him in Wild this month, so it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to that.
But one of our producers made top 100.
In Wild, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, top 100 period is difficult.
Period. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm trying to remember what he was at 95. So pretty good.
Crazy.
And also in what was that, Arena? Sage was, like I mentioned before, he was at 7.4 wins averaging, or did I say Slim? I meant Sage. But I guess I don't know who added it, but Sir Slim's in there too. I missed that.
Sir Slim being Sage.
Sir Slim. Okay.
Yeah. Same person. But I mean, yeah, he's been top rated several times on arena lists, so that's no surprise. We're super proud that he's like part of our fam.
There you go. So fun to kind of see there. Hopefully, we can see a lot more of our community in there. Maybe it'll kind of push you over the edge to work towards that. And the last thing I wanted to mention was BlizzCon announced their goodie bag, which is kind of cool. I like the backpack idea if it's going there to BlizzCon this year. And then they have like it seems like a lot of Overwatch stuff, to be honest. But they have like a pin. They have a little deadly, or a cute but deadly figure. But the backpack is probably the coolest thing. They have like all the different games on the inlay of it. So all the Blizzard games and also on the inside of the pouch on the top too. Crip actually threw up a YouTube video of it. So it's not very exciting to watch him do it, but you get to see some of the stuff. I'm just being honest.
Watch Crip get jaded about something. .youtube.com.
Yeah.
It's every night at 11 p.m. Eastern. There's a link here I actually found on Wowhead where someone more enthusiastic than Crip unbox it. This looks super cool.
I'm excited to get it. And those who have the Twitch, or not the Twitch, who are going to be getting the virtual ticket, you get like a certain percentage off of it too. So that'll be good for you guys. All right. So that pretty much does it for news, unless you guys wanted to add anything else. Anything else kind of top of mind?
Kenny, I think you're great.
God.
Oh, that's not
it.
news.
Not really. I think
It's not new.
I'm excited to get a goodie bag. BlizzCon. I don't know. This seems really cool.
I can't wait to meet you guys too. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, so I'm gonna kick it over to Cinder. He's been quiet. He needs to start talking.
It's the grand tournament!
Yeah, I'm gonna rewind a second. Thank you, Craptasm, for maybe a very important piece of news that we forgot to mention. Nerfs are going live on Monday. Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay!
No more intervade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if they could just throw Iceblock in the garbage, everything would be good. Okay.
Did we
coming.
not talk about that last week?
Yeah, but we didn't know. We didn't have the date.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they announced
so.
that today, I think.
And we'll remind the audience that Iceblock was, to call it hinted at being in Hall of Fame, it understates it. They said
They're putting it in the Hall of Fame.
While we
It's
recognize
happening.
Iceblock's impact in the competitive environment, we only do Hall of Fame rotations in the beginning of the year. Hintity, hint.
Right.
Yeah, and then again, they also said if infestation's a problem, we'll look at it. After all this stuff, so
Sweet. Okay. Asia Pacific Summer Playoffs happened this past weekend. They are the third region to select the full representatives to send to Los Angeles for the Summer Championships next month. 7 Swiss rounds of best-of-5 conquest cut to a top 8 single elimination bracket. Winning the Swiss was Ouya. Following him in order were Kribo, Machamp, the legendary deck builder Machamp, Surrender, playing for Planet Odd along with his former Navi teammates, Zixo and Hoy. Horo, Coco Sasa, veteran tournament player Tom60229, and Taco. Cloud9's Daioni, who had such a noteworthy performance last year in the championship tour, he missed the top 8 by tiebreakers. He fell in 9th place, so he just barely made it, or barely didn't make it. And that was his last chance to get an HCT berth for this year. So it's back to the drawing board for Daioni. We'll have to check him out again in 2018. In the quarterfinal round, Ouya defeats Taco 3-2. Surrender defeats Horo 3-1. Tom sweeps Kribo 3-0, and Coco Sasa defeats Machamp 3-1. So those 4 individuals are the 4 representatives that will be going to the Summer Championships, and they played the remaining rounds for a little bit of extra fame and glory. Semifinal round, Surrender defeats Ouya 3-2. Coco Sasa defeats Tom 3-1, and in the final, Surrender defeats Coco Sasa 3-2. That was a very, very tight match right there at the end. Of note, the APAC deck lists were very, very interesting, including not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different Highlander Warlock decks were featured in this tournament. So that's Kazakus, Cruel, the Unshackled. Is it Cruel or the Shackled or the Unshackled? I always forget. That's the big purple guy.
He's the opposite of Raza, right? Because Raza is chained and Cruel is unshackled.
Yeah, there you go. Cruelly Unshackled. So like the Cruel Lock deck coming into play all of a sudden, including by Tom60229. So like I was so happy to see that deck being played, like, because, I hit Legend a couple months ago and just played that in Legend just because why not? And it actually wasn't bad. It just was missing something. I think the meta just wasn't right yet. Or it may have actually been before Knights of the Frozen Throne, so maybe it got a couple things that it was needing. So really happy to see that being played. And then the other thing of note, this is actually the first time we've seen anybody in Conquest targeting Jade Druid specifically. Coco Sasa made it all the way to the final match and only lost 2-3 with a lineup specifically designed to target Jade Druid and Highlander Priest. He had himself Jade Druid, he had Big Priest, Exodia Mage, and Murloc Paladin. So what he would do is he would ban the most aggressive deck in the lineup, usually Pirate Warrior, or sometimes Murloc Paladin or Shaman, and then he would target those big slow decks with his combo decks. So it was really interesting to see not only somebody do this, but actually be really successful at it. And Tom's list was his lineup was very similar, but not to the extent of Coco Sasa. So there were like 2 or 3 other people actually targeting Jade Druid and not banning Jade Druid, which to me is really interesting because it's people just proving that Jade Druid is incredibly strong, but it's not unbeatable. Like, it is definitely beatable. You can find success in Conquest if you make the right meta reads.
It's amazing that players are actually adopting a beat Druid strategy that's working. It's it's difficult, but people are finding a way. I think Ouya's lineup is really interesting too, kind of going the full Brokeback with the Divine Favor Paladin. I just found that really interesting, and it worked out really well for him too.
Yeah, that aggressive Paladin is barely made any ticks on like all the data trackers, but I have seen some people playing it in like open cups and stuff. I expect it to kind of come out of nowhere and surprise people because it's actually still really good.
Yeah, and you say that APAC lineups are interesting. Wait until next weekend.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Americas Championships are going to be a spectacle. But before we can even get to the Americas Championship, DreamHack Montreal also happened this past weekend. Now, the summer points cutoff is already passed, which is, APAC and China and Europe have already played for their play into the championship. So there are no summer points are not relevant. But last call is still in play. The deadline for last call points is October the 31st. The last day of October is the last time they're going to count points towards World Championship. And there are two DreamHacks. There's Montreal that was just played, and there is DreamHack Denver, which Drunken Monk will be attending, of course. And so this DreamHack Montreal ended up basically being a tournament of two stories. There were a number of very hardworking competitive players who haven't yet had a big breakout, who were looking for this tournament to maybe make their mark on the scene and have their name get out there. And then there's the last call race between Muzzy and Zalay. Muzzy is currently ahead. Well, before this tournament, he was ahead of Zalay by 1 point. And the way last call works this year is that the one player, just one from each region with the top points, HCT points that did not qualify, is automatically qualified. So Muzzy and Zalay are way ahead of the pack, and they have been going like a horse race, neck and neck, trying to get ahead of each other. Muzzy goes into this tournament 1 point ahead, and those two just competed round by round, constantly checking on each other, trying to see who's winning and who's losing. So that was like the other big story here. Now, DreamHack is, of course, a 9-round Swiss tournament that cuts to a top 16. They play best of 5 last hero standing, not Conquest. The winner of the Swiss was Zalay. Zalay was the top player in Swiss at 8-1. He got through at first place with tiebreakers. Terrence and Teebs were just behind him in second and third place on their tiebreakers. At the 7-2 slots were Walla Oompa, Monsanto, who has an insane list for the summer playoffs, which we may talk about in a bit. Insom, Muzzy got in as well, so they both Zalay and Muzzy make the cut. Coach Twisted, Hot Meowth, and Sidonia. Getting through the tiebreakers at 6-3 were Iniesta, Sohyun, Impact, Tars, Talion, and The Rat. So of those, there's a lot of names that are recognized but haven't yet had a breakout. The Rat, Hot Meowth, Walla Wumpa, Sohyun, Talion, Muzzy, Tars, Insom. Like those are all players that have been grinding and just haven't made like the big breakout performance. We've seen a few of them in HCT, but this was a perfect opportunity for them to win a DreamHack and become a household name. We saw that happen last year with Terrence. In fact, Terrence only got second place, and he got basically immediately recognized throughout competitive HCT. So in the quarterfinals, Hot Meowth defeats the Rat 3-1. Sohyun defeats Walla Oompa 3-2. Muzzy defeats Talion 3-2, and Insom defeats Tars 3-1. So Zalay actually gets knocked out in the round of 16, did not make it through. So now Muzzy has a wide open road, a path to possibly collect more points to get ahead in the race. That brought us to a semifinal of Sohyun versus Hot Meowth 3-2. I pulled a Cora there. Muzzy sweeps Insom 3-0 with Pirate Warrior. And that brings us a final of Muzzy versus Sohyun 3-2. Sohyun being a regular from Kyoto Esports and also a regular of Team Hearth League, which Hat and I are a part of. So it's really cool to see him making a breakout performance. And Sohyun played some very, very tight Exodia Mage in that series. It was really something to see if you didn't see it. So Muzzy ends up winning the Montreal DreamHack and gets 15 points. So he is now 16 points ahead of Zalay in the last call, but it's not over yet. There's still 2 months of ladder to go. There's still 2 months of open cups where each player can collect 5 points. And there's DreamHack Denver. So the exact opposite might happen. Muzzy might wash out, and Zalay might win Denver, which could reset the whole race right away. So this race is not over. Keep your eye on these two. It's going to be a constant battle for these two trying to get ahead of each other. Other things of note from this tournament, the already infamous Coach Twisted versus Wallawumpa Rizakis mirror from round 7. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll let Appa take the floor on that one because that one's something else. And then this tournament was last hero standing. So last hero standing is sweep decks are way more important. So you end up taking decks that are either very coin flippy and can high roll, or you take very aggressive decks that have a high chance of just getting great draws and just sweeping you under the rug. So the lineups were a lot more standard. You had a lot more Druid, Priest, plus Pirate Warrior and Shaman, or Pirate Warrior and Murloc Paladin. Not a lot of craziness, but there were some counter strategies going on, including Sohyun's lineup. Those aggressive decks did dominate the field. The win percentages were very good, but players like Sohyun did find success with level 2, level 3 lineups. The only 3 classes that had positive win rates throughout the entire tournament, thanks to Smash GG for their data collection since they ran this tournament. Druid, Priest, and Warrior, the only 3 classes that had better than 50%. Everything else was under 50%. So last hero standing, very much about the sweeps. So Appa, I know you had something you wanted to say about this Coach Twisted Rizakis mirror, man. I want to hear it.
Yeah, well, I actually only caught like the back end of the game because I tuned into the stream because Twitter was going just buck wild about it. I was like, okay, I got to see what this is. But so I came in whenever I think it was Coach Twisted just had lethal for like 2 or 3 turns and just didn't actually count. Because he had like Velen, he had all the combo pieces. He had enough damage to kill. It was Coach Twisted versus what was the other guy's name?
Wallawumpa.
He had enough damage to kill him, but he just didn't even see it. And like, if you're playing at a high level and you bring Velen Priest to a tournament, you need to be able to do that math. Like that's just, it's not an arguable point. Like even at the end of the day, you should not be playing so bad that you just completely miss what your deck is built around. Like, you just shouldn't do that. And I remember watching Wallawumpa. He just, like, picks a Nozdormu from Free Forever.
Yeah.
And then, like, Coach Twisted just completely panics, has no idea what to do. It was just... Everything I saw in that match was just awful. I don't even remember who won. Like, I came in at like the back end of it, and then I had to click away after like 2 turns. I was like, I actually can't. This is making me so upset.
So you did finally put the nails down on the into the coffin lid, and put Coach Twisted out of his misery. And then Coach Twisted went on Twitter right after the match and says, "I think I played that Priest match pretty much perfectly."
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure he was being sarcastic because he already gotten tagged a few times.
Yeah.
This is a textbook example of what happens with pressure under the cameras. And people say, oh yeah, if I have a feature match, I'll be fine. But it's hard to adapt to that environment. And as you can tell, both of these players are high legend players, very good at the game. Wallawumpa was on the top 100 leaderboards this season. So these are known good players that play hundreds and hundreds of games of Hearthstone, but when you put yourself in that environment and you play a deck that might be unfamiliar to you, or you play a deck that might be harder to pilot than it looks, these guys weren't able to keep the focus that they needed to perform at a high level, and unfortunately it was very visible.
Yeah, like whenever I got the feature match versus Strife Crow, whenever I saw the little notification pop up, I was like, oh god. There was like a little twang in my stomach, and I was like, oh, people are spectating me now. And then like I took a deep breath and then just ignored it. But I know it's probably much harder for other people to do that. And even in my match, even though like I ignored it, I still made a really simple, stupid mistake where I just didn't hero power before, I think, lightning storming or portaling.
Yeah,
And then
the Portal Lightning Storm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
Yeah,
before.
and then I rolled spell power.
Yeah.
So like, even if you're not like feeling the pressure, like it's still there. But I mean, I don't know. Just like not counting kind of bothers me. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, there were a bunch of sequential errors and mechanical errors there, but like one of the first things you learn with Rizakas is once you have the 0 point or 0 mana hero power, it's the first thing you do every turn. Like it doesn't matter what else your turn includes. You hero power most of the time the face because it's free. It doesn't affect the rest of your turn. And he missed it several times. So I mean, we're not trying to pick on him, but it's just a great example of the fact that you can be a great player and just pressure and tilts can just get to you, and probably exhaustion too. Because it was, I said it was round 7. I think it was round 6 because I think they were both 5-0 at that point, or 5-1. Like they had both done really well.
Undefeated.
Yeah, we don't want to like pick on anybody really. It's just from the tournament, this is probably the most memorable thing that happened, which is like kind of sad, but also interesting at the same time. It's like a nice little discussion point about nerves under pressure and everything.
Yeah. And really the kind of humanizing, pros and aspiring competitive players because, nerves can hit anybody. Like Muzzy is actually one of the most nervous people I have ever seen play. Like if you're real good at reading body language, he is a wreck when he's playing. Like, but he manages to keep it under control for the most part.
I remember playing him in Austin last year, and like the dude was just, his hands were just like shaking, and I'm just like, what's going on? I'm nobody. What are you? You're Muzzy, dude. Like, I'm the one who's terrified here. I think it's just like competitive nerves, like just hit everybody. And people just like handle it differently.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably the same feeling like when you're laddering and you've never reached level like rank 2 before, and you're just like shaking. You're like, oh, I've never been here. Should I press the button? Probably the same thing, but like 10 times worse.
No, you're absolutely right. It's pressure is everyone is susceptible, so it's very human. We have this weekend coming up, the Americas Summer Playoffs, the last region to do their summer playoffs before the summer championships. And I mentioned it. I want to point him out. Monsanto, he had a pretty high climb in the HCT last year. We haven't seen him in the HCT this year, but he is really well known for bringing very creative, very like high level strategy lineups. Like he will never take a straight up aggro lineup. He's always going to try and level the field.
He's notorious in like the professional scene as like one of the best combo players in the Americas. He really, really likes combo decks. Yes. So I'm sure he's going to bring Rizakas and be very, very proficient at it.
Guess what? You're wrong.
Really?
Yep. This is his lineup.
Oh,
Jungle Druid.
Yeah, he brought Silence Priest.
Giants Druid.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah, right. Quest Mage, Exodia Mage. That's the most typical deck in this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Quest Rogue, Caverns Below, and Silence Priest. This deck tops off at Lyra. Like that's the most expensive card in this deck.
Yeah, I was looking at his lineup. I completely forgot that I'd seen it already. Whenever you said Jungle Druid, I was like, oh yeah, he's bringing Silence Priest. Okay. I actually really like his lineup. I have no idea what the Jungle Druid like. I'm sure he's tested it. I'm sure he's not just like, Jungle Druid for the memes. But like all of his decks actually look pretty good. I like the Quest Rogue. It seems weird because of the nerf, but if a deck gives you time, like the extra like tick that you have to get on the quest becomes less like, I guess, impactful. Like the longer the game goes on because you're getting a bunch of time against like Rizakas Priest or Jade Druid or something. So against those decks, it's actually pretty good. So it looks like he's definitely trying to target those decks and like ban something else.
Yeah, he's probably going to do much like Coco Sasa did. He's probably going to ban the most aggressive deck and then target Jade Druid and both Priest decks, honestly. But like, check this out. Jungle Druids might sound insane because nobody would ever play this on ladder. I mean, it is basically ramp Druid. It's just ramp, and really, really big things.
Yep.
And I have seen this being played at high level legend, like above 300, and it beats Jade Druid. Like it probably beats Priest too, just because of the density of threats.
Yeah,
So-
because like in the Druid mirrors, if you're both like ramping and stuff, if you're just ramping into something that's already big, you're gonna have an edge up on Jade Druid because they're gonna ramp, and then they're gonna have to incrementally build up their Jades, so they're gonna be behind when you start slamming your big dudes. There is a turning point in the match, like where their Jades get bigger, but at that point you're already hitting them for a lot, and you might like have Barnabas or something, which is the quest reward for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure is everybody.
The Stomper.
The
Yeah.
Stomper.
The
Barnabas
best
and stuff.
animation in Ungoro.
Is it golden? Is his quest
The quest is not golden,
golden?
unfortunately.
That's a punt.
It's the Golden Barnabas. You actually see him stomp.
Yeah, it's awesome. He
stomps in the
he
yard.
stomps his little feet. It's so cute.
And he's got quite a number of large beasts and the menagerie warden and bone mare at the top. Like this is crazy pants. I
Yeah,
can't wait to see
so
this.
I would guess that his strategy is like ban warrior, expecting pirate. Well, I mean, it's open deck list, so like he knows exactly what people are
Right.
playing. So if he runs into like pirate warrior, he's just would probably ban that and then just like completely slaughter these slow decks with his lineup.
This is going to be great. So check that out this weekend. They start play Saturday morning in the U.S. So check it out.
All right. Hat, what would be the best way someone can help us out as a podcast?
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here. What would be the next?
You could leave us a review.
Really? Oh, I never thought about that.
Where
That's
can
a
I
good idea,
leave reviews?
I don't
didn't-
think you're telling the truth. I think you thought about this because this question seems very rhetorical.
So yeah, how would they do that?
They would go to iTunes and leave us a review there, or if they use Stitcher, you're welcome to leave us a review there. Or, I mean, you can always pop into Discord and tell us that we're great. It's not documented anywhere, but it feels nice.
Yeah. I guess you could go on Reddit. People go there. Nah, I don't know if you'd want to go there. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, this podcast is all about maintaining positivity. I'm
Yes.
not going to say that Reddit isn't about that, but I'm going to say that historically, Reddit and positivity haven't had a huge correlation.
They're kind of on a
Reddit
temporary
and
split.
positivity aren't in a symbiotic relationship.
It's
There
like
you
a
go.
peanut butter and sardine sandwich.
All right, let's give Appa his time here. Let's play the best bumper in the world.
So we got some good requests, I guess, in discussion in Discord, which is where everything good with this podcast happens, is in our Discord. Go join our channel at discord.coinconcede.com.
He ain't lying.
And people were asking, to paraphrase, is like, how does one get over the hump of like the learning mentality of Hearthstone? Am I phrasing that in a good way?
I think so, because there's whenever anyone who's new at a game there's a learning curve, right? And
There's a pretty steep learning curve in Hearthstone too.
It can be difficult to break out of the mental traps that commonly occur with new players, and that's what Appa wants to talk about.
Yeah. So whenever you're learning, you're gonna like go up a little bit, and then you're gonna plateau for a while, and then you're gonna like get some new knowledge or insight, and then you're gonna go up some more, and then plateau again. So this is mostly about how to break out of your plateaus of improvement, which is, if you don't know, like a plateau of improvement is just you stagnating for a while and not seemingly getting any better or getting any worse. You're just kind of staying the same. So I wrote down just a bunch of bullet points, and I'm going to kind of go over these, and then I'll just monologue for a little bit, and then I guess we can like discuss it at the end. So first, and I think one of the most important and overlooked things is And for improving when you're very new to the game is to just watch streams of like the very good players. They're popular streamers for a reason, and they usually play the game very well. And their job is to entertain and interact with you. You can always ask questions in chat, and they might even respond themselves if they're not like super busy in a game or like super intently focused or responding to other people. And even if they don't respond, other people in the chat will. Then it like sparks discussion. One of the best streamers I know for teaching and responding to chat is actually Ties. I really like him a lot as a streamer. I watched him a lot when I first started. He helped me improve a lot. I was learning Hunter at the time, like when I first started, and he was playing a lot of Hunter at the time, and I actually just jumped in his chat and I talked to him via chat, and he's very responsive. But you can do that with a lot of very popular streamers on Twitch. Another thing that's very important is learning the best decks. Even if you don't play them, you should know what you're playing against, because it lets you play around things. It lets you know what possibilities are in your opponent's deck. Like, if you're playing against Razaka's Priest, they only have one Dragonfire Potion. Sometimes they don't even run Holy Nova. If you're playing against Big Priest, they have all of the AoE in the world. They have a bunch of early game stuff. There's a bunch of websites for this. I use Hearthstone Decks the most. I know Hat does too. I've also used like Hearthstone and Icy Veins. I've used those too, but I like Hearthstone Decks the best. It's just laid out very nicely. I like the website a lot. Coaching is also a good option, but it costs money, so it's not for everybody, especially like free-to-play players. But if you don't have money for coaching, you can always watch people play who are better than you. Vicious Syndicate is also a good one. Hat just reminded me. That was one I didn't use when I first started, so it didn't pop into my head. But Vicious Syndicate's very good. So if you don't have money for coaching, you can always watch people who are better than you, whether that be your friends or somebody you just meet online. Like, if you're listening right now and you don't have a lot of people you know, like personally in your life, that play Hearthstone, come into our Discord and just ask people. Like, our Discord is a fantastic place to learn stuff, because all of us, all the hosts, are always just like patrolling through the Discord, just scrolling down. Maybe we're not all talking all the time, but we're always like monitoring what's going on. And then like if we see something that catches our eye, I know Cinder is like drawn to this like flies are delight. It's like if someone's like, help, I'm new, Cinder's like, I'm coming, baby.
and it's really unfortunate too, because I'm a lot of time I'm at work, and my responses can be very brief, and it might sound like a little bit like me just being impatient with people. No, I promise, I really want to be helpful. I just don't have like limited time, during the day, even though I'm always watching.
Yeah, so some people might not have that option, but seriously, if you're listening to this and you find yourself like stagnating or not getting better, and you don't have money for coaching, or like you don't have money to like support the podcast with like $10 or whatever, that's fine. Our Discord is completely free of charge. Like, you can just jump in the Hearthstone Hangout and just talk to people. Like, we're all here. Sorry, Hat was typing in the show notes and it distracted me.
Such a troll.
So like, take advantage of that. Like, seriously. He did it again. He said, Appa saw a shiny object. I did. So watch people who are better than you. You can pay for coaching. You could get like free, like quote unquote free coaching just by talking to people. Play against people who are better than you. This is something you can also get like via Discord or people you know. If you know somebody's better at the game than you, you can, maybe they're just not busy someday, and be like, hey, do you want to play a game or something? You might even help them like complete quests or something. Just play against them. If you can't find out what you're doing wrong, ask them questions. After I had played Hearthstone for a little bit, I played in DreamHack Austin in 2016, and in the penultimate round of Swiss, I played against Orange, and I made a really obvious mistake that like cost me a game. But after the match, I asked him, I was like, hey, I know you're probably busy and like you're going to hang out with people, but do you have a second just to like answer a couple of my questions? And he was like, yeah, sure. Because Orange he's a sweetheart. He's an awesome dude. And I was like, all right, other than that big mistake, did you see any other obvious mistakes I made? Like that was the first thing like I asked him. I was like, I wasn't like asking for an autograph or anything. I was just like, look, did I screw up or did you see me obviously screw up besides this big stupid mistake? And he was like, no, I don't think so. And then we like talked about some potential lines that I had in like a couple of our games. But like I actively sought out information because he's just somebody who's better than me. And I knew that there was a possibility that I screwed up like some other games too, which kind of segues into my next point is let go of your ego. Everybody has an ego when they play a game. Like when they do like most things, you might not realize it, but whenever you're at rank 15 or whenever you're like a rank 15 player or something, and then you like take a break for a couple months and like you're at rank 25, I'm sure you're like, man, rank 25, no big deal. Well, why is that not a big deal? Is it because you're better than the people you're playing against? Probably. And that's hubris, like setting in there. You have something to learn from everybody, like regardless of their rank. Like even if you're teaching somebody who's never played the game before and you're walking them through the tutorial and they like want to go arcane missiles on turn 1, like I did when I first started playing. I went arcane missiles on turn 1. My friend Brandon, who was watching me, he was like, why'd you do that? And I was like, I don't know, I wanted to use my mana. And I was like, should I not do that? And he had to like think about it for a second to like accurately explain to me why that was bad. And that was actually kind of a learning moment for him because he just knew it was bad. He just had never thought like about all of the reasons before. So he learned something from me as a brand new player, while also teaching me at the same time. So you have something to learn from like everybody in Hearthstone. Something that I really want to emphasize, which I see as a really big problem in people that are having a tough time improving, is it's a little tough love time. You're not owed anything in Hearthstone ever. You're not owed a win. You don't deserve a win. If you play like as well as like as perfectly as possible, you still don't deserve a win. You can play a game like technically perfectly and still lose. You don't deserve to win that one. You win or lose each game, and you can input different variables into the game to increase your percentage of winning or losing in a specific game. So you can make good plays, you can make bad plays, you can make better than good plays. They all increase or decrease your percentage to win any specific game. You have a chance to win or lose any given game you play, period. You don't deserve to win. You're like, if you lose, when you go into a game on ladder, when you hit play now, then you load up. It says opponent found. You should think there's about a 50% chance I probably lose this. There's also a 50% chance you win. It's up to you to increase or decrease those percentages. You need to get in the proper mindset whenever you're playing. When you lose a game, the first reaction you should have is, okay, where did I mess up that game? When you lose a game, you should always think there's something I could have done better. You shouldn't think, man, I really got unlucky. That's very toxic to a learning mindset. It's very counterproductive to think, man, I got unlucky. While that might be true, doesn't matter. That's thinking you got unlucky is not helping you improve. It's human nature to look for outside reasons for why you lost, but you should be searching internally for reasons that you lost first. I can pretty much all but guarantee you, if you send me a game where you believe you played perfect and lost because you got unlucky, I'll find a scenario in the game where you could have done something differently. And that's very important. That's really important to kind of just get out of the way whenever you're learning Hearthstone. There's always something you can do differently. And that's about the end of my monologue.
Kenny, you're muted.
Oh, I thought I just unmuted myself. Sorry. I want to hear from Hat.
Hi. I think Appa is a smart person. And one thing I want to point out if you are a new player or a newer player, if you feel like you can't get out of this, please talk to us as a podcast. Email us, Discord us, chat with us, tweet at us, whatever you want to do. We want to hear from your experience because none of us have been new players in a very long time. And I think what can be really daunting is both the feeling of coming up against strategies that you haven't seen before, not knowing how to improve, combined with the feeling of my opponent has spent a lot of money and I haven't, and I'm not sure how to conquer that. I'm not sure how to get past that. So we want to hear from you and what your experience is like. But Appa is right in that perspective matters so much. I was talking to someone earlier today in the Discord, or earlier this week. He said, oh yeah, I use Dark Souls to calm down after I lose a game of Hearthstone. My first response was, are you literally insane?
And then I was like, I do that too. Cool.
Yeah, well, but so the response I got back, I think it was Rastian, but I'm not 100% sure, was, well, in Dark Souls, I expect to die most of the time, and I can recognize where I went wrong, so it doesn't feel upsetting. And so my response is, what would it take for us to help orient Hearthstone in that mindset of, you will probably lose most of the time, and if you didn't, look for the way that you won. Assume that the game is going to go against you. Assume that something bad's going to happen and that a win is going to be hard fought. That if you win, you deserved it, and that if you didn't, you did something wrong, but the game was also meant that way. And you can use this as a learning mindset to kind of change that percentages to adjust what the likelihood is that you're going to win. But a lot of Hearthstone's issues are based on human nature perception and the belief that I cannot see my own mistakes, hence I must not be making them, so if I lose, I must be unlucky. That thought process kills people involvement in the game. And right now, if we're being really, really honest, being a new player is very challenging because Jade Druid goes all the way down the ladder. It's been around for a long time. People that have invested in the deck and have built it, if you are a new player, you're not going to get past Ultimate Infestation. It's just not going to happen. The nerfs are coming on Monday. But right now, it is appropriate to justify that it is maybe a more frustrating time than usual to be a new player, and you can tell by watching Team Void versus Team Light. They're playing free-to-play decks at rank 20 to rank 18, and they're having trouble ranking up because the lower-ranked decks are a lot of really common meta decks that are a frustrating experience. We want to hear about that. We want to know what your experience is. We want to help you. We want to guide you. We believe as a group that your play can influence how quickly you get out of that rank 20 to rank 15 bracket that is very, very difficult for most players to escalate out of the first time they play and as they get into Hearthstone. But
I know our tagline whenever we start the show is a Hearthstone podcast dedicating to making the competitive side of the game more accessible. But I think it's more accurate to say that we have a mindset of, first and foremost, we want to foster a better and bigger Hearthstone community. We want to make the game more accessible and fun, and we just want to have a good community to go along with it. So we legitimately want to hear about this stuff.
Yeah. Like all the shout outs in the world for the idea for this segment go out to Big Hunk in our Discord, who came into the salt mine and is just like, I'm new and I just suck and I guess I just can't get ahead because I don't have a good deck. And we're like, no. There's a lot of things we could do to improve your play, but it's a big topic. So let's take it to the podcast. And a lot of what Appa's talking about, I think of these as mental traps.
Yeah.
People construct these artificial rules for themselves, or they give themselves blind spots for various reasons. Like Appa was talking about, you tend to, it's human nature to tend to think that luck did you in, bad luck or their good luck did you in, instead of your own, flawed play. And it can take a lot for somebody to be able to admit that they can just make a mistake. Like and then sometimes you don't even realize you're making a mistake at all. You have to have someone point it out to you. So it can be very difficult to be able to turn the lens of criticism inward and be able to look at your own play objectively. That's a tricky thing to do, and it's important to be cognizant of it before and after the game.
The only reason I was able to do it and improve so rapidly was because of my Magic background, because I had such good peer figures. Like they were so good at the game in Magic. Like they taught me all this stuff while I was already playing that game. So I was able to transfer it over to Hearthstone. It's like, okay, I lost that game. I did something wrong. Let's figure it out. Like let's go watch a replay. So it's definitely hard if you don't have like anybody like mentoring you or haven't in the past. It's very difficult to just step back and look at a situation objectively and then just be like, what did I screw up?
Yeah, like there's the worst thing you can do if you're trying to get better at the game is just mindlessly jam games on ladder. You will not learn very much doing that because if you're making mistakes, you're going to continue to repeat the same mistakes. So you need to be able to have, an objective view of the game. Usually that just comes from just record your games. Just track a bot, have it tie into HS Replay, and just watch your games later. Have someone else watching you. It doesn't have to be even a coach. It can be a friend, like Appa said. Just having someone else's viewpoint can be incredibly valuable.
That's what I was going to mention was our Discord has a channel open for people to just hang out. And if someone's just hanging out, hop in there, watch some games with them. Like the biggest thing I think is seeing another person's thought process. I'm going to use an example because Boticus was actually watching me play some games. And this was before he was coaching. He's watching me play some was a Murloc Paladin. I'm just climbing up the ladder and I just made the complete dumbest play, right? And it's the Vile Spine, the
Vilespine Slayer.
The
5 mana 3/4.
No. I'm not thinking Rogue. What's the 1 mana 3/1/3? The Murloc.
Vilefin Inquisitor.
Vilefin. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the play I had, I was in the middle of the game. I was like turn 7 or 8 or something. So I ended up playing a card, and then to get Murlocs on board, what I did is I just threw the Vile Spine and hero powered. He's like, well, and I was just trying to cram out cards before the rope ended, but he's like, well, why didn't you, if you were going to play that route instead of the route he was suggesting, why didn't you just hero power, then throw the Vilefin, and then hero power again? Because you would have gotten an extra Murloc on the board. And it was just something like I didn't even think about at the time because my mind was just thinking, I just need to get something out there. So things like that, it helps you get, like, I'm never going to forget that, right? It's stuff like that helps. And not only that, but he's a perfect example. Like at the end, I was like, hey, thanks for just watching games and kind of showing me certain lines of play because, he just hit legend with that deck. Basically, and I was like, hey, watch me play some games, and he's like, you know what, you may think that I was helping you, but you helped me too. Like there were certain things that you did that, I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. And if you have your ego dropped off at the door, or like before you even get to the computer or mobile phone, you're a humble person. That makes you a better person, and it creates that environment to where you're open to ideas and you can, like Appa said, like springboard your learning just right off. Like it'll open you up to increasing your win rate or doing much better exponentially. So
yeah, so I'm not going to say any names. I'm sure he'll know if he's listening to this, who I'm talking about. But there was somebody a few weeks ago who came to me and was like, hey, I want to hit Legend. I haven't been able to hit Legend. I need help. I will pay for coaching. I was like, all right, cool. And I know him to be very tilting when he's playing. And I was like, all right, look, we got in the coaching session. I was like, I'm not dealing with that. You're not going to tilt or else I'm not going to coach you. Like, that's just how it is. If you make a mistake, it's your fault. Okay? Cool. So then we played like 2 hours, and he immediately improved a ton. It's just like, all right, if you make a mistake, you've made a mistake. We're not going down the self-destructive path of like, I can't win. Like, everything sucks. Hearthstone's awful. It's like, you made a mistake. It's fine. People do it. I do it all the time. I screw up every single time I play a game of Hearthstone. I don't think I've ever played a perfect game of Hearthstone in my life. But that was a very interesting moment for me as a coach. So I was like, all right, look, just don't tilt. We're not doing that. We're not dealing with that right now. And then we played like 2 hours, and then lo and behold, he hit Legend.
There you go. And there's one other thing, it's not in the notes, but it's another one of these mental constructs that people find themselves stuck in. And that's people who, for whatever reason, look down on net decking. Don't do that. Like, there's nothing wrong with copying someone else's deck.
Net decks exist. It's because they're incredibly efficient at what they do, and they're usually some of the best versions of doing that thing.
Yeah, like if your goal is to create your own deck and be successful with it, that's okay. But you cannot also tie that to some other, goal like I want to hit Legend, because those two things are not usually paired together. Like it's very, very difficult. It takes dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of hours to perfect a deck. And most people don't have that. So never be ashamed to look up a deck list, because that all that means is that somebody else did those hundreds of hours of work already. Somebody who does this for a living did that. So take advantage of their experience and their knowledge, and don't be afraid to copy someone else's deck. It's not a big deal. I promise. There's nothing shameful about it.
There's a lot going on here in this conversation. First of all, shout out to that mysterious person that Appa coached. Second of all, I think it's worth saying that the concept of I want to be the best and I want to get there on my own, getting there on your own is executing. If you want to come up with your own deck and also pilot to Legend, if you've never hit Legend before, the honest thing here is that that's arrogant. It's to say that I have never gotten to where these pro players have gotten to before. I want to get there. I want to do it my own way, and I am better at it than they are. You're setting yourself up for disappointment, and that's not fair to you, and that's not fair to anybody else. But there's more to the game, and this is a problem with the latter as it stands. There's more to the game than Legend or not Legend. It's very, very easy for players to stratify themselves as, if I'm Legend, I'm good. If I'm not Legend, I'm not good. And I think it's important to recognize, if you normally hit rank 20 and you get to rank 15, be proud of that. If you normally hit rank 15 and you finished last month at rank 12, be proud of that. Incremental improvement, even if it takes a while, if you are having fun playing and getting a little bit better and building relationships in the community that you're in, you are successful by every metric there is. Legend is not the indicator that you were successful. Rank 5 is not the indicator that you were successful. You being better than you were the last time you played means that you are successful.
The only thing Legend actually means, or the only time it actually matters, is if you're a pro player and the points from getting Legend actually matter. Other than that, the only thing it is a little digital orange hexagon that'll pop up on your screen and say, "Yay!"
Yep.
And then a card back that you can get, but it's really ugly. So
nobody uses it.
I've used it once. That's why I've used it once. The second I got it, and then I was like, "Ew, I don't like this." And then I switched off it.
I strongly recommend Cupcake.
Yeah, Cupcakes are good. Rainbow is
I don't
good.
have Cupcake. I started too late.
Oh, look at me, I'm Appa. I'm so good at the game I hit Legend after Cupcake came out.
No, I'm really sad. I want Cupcake so bad.
That's true of every day of my life. I just want Cupcake.
Right?
I just go to a bakery and say, I want Cupcake.
But you go.
No. If we're still talking about cupcakes, let's go there before I bring it back to the table.
No, I was just gonna tie it or rope it back to Legend. Doesn't matter unless you're trying to be the literal, like, a competitive Hearthstone player. Like, if you'll get there eventually, if you really, really want to, but just don't worry about it. Just have fun.
Yeah, find the fun in the game. That's the thing.
Like, I have to stress all the time on ladder, like when I'm not Legend, because like I'm on a team with very good players. Like, I need to grind a lot. A lot of time, it just like I'll have to play when I just don't even want to anymore. Where I'm like not even having fun, and I'll be like, I have to hit Legend. I'm at rank 1, and I'd just rather go take a bath or something. But I have to play these Jade Tribuners until I hit Legend. So like, don't put yourself in those kind of situations that I'm in because I'm on a team. Just have fun playing. Just enjoy the game. It's a video game.
Right.
How often do you choose between Hearthstone and hygiene?
Never.
No, that's like an extra bath a day. When I take a bath, it's like I've already showered and everything. It's just a relaxed thing.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
No, that's not like Hearthstone or brush my teeth. It's like that's like a relaxation thing.
My last comment on this, and I'm basically just reiterating something that that Hat already said. But this is something that I teach to when I was teaching chess to elementary school kids. We'd always talk about rivalries, right? Like Fischer versus Kasparov and Nakamura versus Magnus Carlsen, so like stuff like that. And we talk about these rivalries, nemesis, right? And one of the things I leave them with is that there's always somebody that you're looking at who you think is better than you, or that you're trying to beat. But your greatest rival is yourself, right? Like Monday you need to be better than Monday you on Tuesday. Tuesday you has to be better than Monday you. And then Wednesday you has to be better than Tuesday you. If you are constantly getting better, no matter how small that improvement is, you are succeeding. So like if you got to rank 15 this month and you get to rank 14 the next month, you got better. You know, don't tie your ego to the rank necessarily, but it is a way to show that you have improved. So make reasonable goals for yourself and achieve those. You can do that.
But Monday me before Nerf is going to be better than Tuesday me after.
September the 18th, everybody is going to be way better than September the 17th, everybody.
Alrighty. Well, that was a good time.
Innervate's going to be worse than September 17th Innervate.
I'm just excited.
That card had enough time in the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a pun? I missed it.
I don't think it is, but I'll take credit for it if you think it is.
He had the delivery of like
it did.
He had classic hat
like
delivery of a pun, but it just wasn't actually there. It just wasn't actually a joke.
I mean, I can make puns if you guys want me to make puns.
I think we've had a distinct lack of puns so far.
I was trying to be good.
Alrighty.
And you guys, you know what? When I found out my toaster wasn't waterproof, I was shocked.
God.
There you go. Nothing's gonna beat Scandinavian, man.
I'm not even gonna try and beat that. Are you kidding? That is Hall of Fame pun.
It is Evergreen, or no, it's no longer Evergreen. It's Hall of Fame.
When I found my first gray hair, I thought I'd die.
I get it.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Cinder's dying. Let's move on here. So
I'm dead.
If you'd like to send in your puns, I guess you can send it to coinconcede@gmail.com or just mention it in our Discord pun channel.
Or just tweet them directly at me to retweet later.
Yeah.
Or retweet immediately.
And probably
discuss later.
tag me.
There is a 101% chance of me tagging Cinder.
And then he'll catalog it in his pun
Punventory.
backlog there. Yeah.
Punventory.
All right, Hat, why don't you go ahead and give the thanks at this episode?
Okay. Thanks to Stefan L. for letting us use his cover. Check him out in their channel, linked in our show notes. Thanks to Old Guardian for his tournament statistics. His blog is linked in our show notes. It's really cool. You can get your blog post at coinconcede.com along with our show notes. Follow us on Twitter at coinconcede. Like and share our Facebook page at facebook.com/coinconcede. Check out our Discord and discord.coinconcede.com. It's the best thing about the show, and there are a lot of great things about the show. Hit shop.coinconcede.com to buy cool stuff. You can go to patreon.coinconcede.com to help support the show and get some cool rewards. And big thanks to our producers, Viriatus, Psych Mopco, and Reganus Prime.
I know I got a confirmation too. It's Regan S Prime, because him and his wife are very huge Transformers fans. And
yay, and not Ronald Reagan fans. I was hoping.
No, well, Reagan's his wife's name. So
okay, there you go.
So yeah, any shout outs? So we're gonna start with Cinder this week.
I'm gonna shout out to Tom60229 for bringing Cruel back, man.
So we're just
Thanks.
gonna leave out Kylum as producer. Did we not update that?
Oh wait.
What a
Oh, wait.
savage punt!
Oh wait.
Uh,
Rewind.
Ah,
Rewind.
so I want to
Wait.
point out Kylum
take
CV
two.
is so important as a producer that we needed to mention him specifically and separately, and this totally isn't an omission from the previous section, which was copied over from last week's show notes. We wanted to wait till all four of us were back in the show. Kylum, we wanted to take this time to indicate that we appreciate you. And you know what? You're all of our shoutouts this week. We're going to have individual shoutouts that were totally not pre-planned in addition to this, but I want you to know that we're shouting you out right now.
Because you're a big old sweetheart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, stands for BOSS. Or the acronym for that is BOSS. B-O-S. Big old
Oh,
sweetheart.
sweet.
So, Calum, you're a boss. And the second S means it's extra sweet. Yeah. You covered
I
pretty
will
well
take-
there.
I will take full credit on that. I just copy over. I need to pay attention a little bit more on Patreon and include people here. We already have him as a producer in our Discord, so I don't feel so bad. But yes, he is our newest one. Let's keep him separate. But all right, next shout out is gonna be Appa.
Shout out to Kylum and the mystery student that I coached, because he improved a lot, and it's very nice to see people step back from like a tilting attitude that they've had before, and like actually just put that aside for a little bit and improve. It's really awesome.
All right. I'm gonna shout out Calum as well. Kylum. He says it Kylum, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because the bonus episode. If you haven't listened, go check out the bonus episode. I wasn't on it, but I listened to it. So, yeah. Let me pull up the Twitch here. I have shout outs for Apex Predator, Blue Spartan. Calum is in chat as well. Or Kylum. Craptasm. Thank you for the reminder. Drunken Monk, Evident HS, Vagrant, Iona Kata, Jasper, Kemmel, Lost Adrift Games, Mr. Pat, P-Sams, Riddly Diddly Doodly, Samurai Flay, we're going to have to stop doing individuals here. Saturno,
many.
Leviticus, Smutton Gaming, and Hecatomics.
Hecatomics, yes. Hex.
Okay. XXX.
We're going to, like, the individual viewers are nice, but we got 22 people watching.
There you go.
That's crazy.
Right?
I'm liking all these new Hearthstone. God, I'm so bad at what do you call them?
Card?
I don't know what you're talking about, so I
Players?
can't help.
No,
Streamers?
the streaming
Oh, the
meme
little
or the
emoticon
icon
things?
Emoticons,
Yeah.
yes.
Twitch emotes.
Emojis,
Twitch
Emotes?
emotes.
Yeah.
I'm liking them.
smileys.
Yeah.
I need to go on Twitch
Iconography?
some more then.
You should consider subscribing to me so you get RidicuLOhat, which is a little can of PBR with a ridiculous hat on it.
There you go.
I've subbed for 2 months in a row, and I let Hat know it on stream.
It's true. Both are accurate.
All right, so that does it for the week. Don't think we have anything else to add. Let's go over our quick info. I'm gonna start it off.
Can I do a shout out?
Yeah, I guess fine.
I guess.
2 shout outs. First of all, shout out to Ahirun HS. He retweets every deck list there's ever been. It's mostly in Japanese, but if you want obscure deck lists, go find Ahirun HS, AHIRUN HS. And second of all, shout out to Bitbeaker. He suggested when you make a s'more, instead of using a chocolate bar, use a Reese's peanut butter cup, and your life will be immeasurably better. And ever since he tweeted that to me, I've been thinking about it. So I just wanted to shout it out on the air.
I'd be lying if I said my mouth wasn't watering right now.
Right? It just because you just think about it, it's like instead of chocolate, just have chocolate with peanut butter, and of course that's better. Why wouldn't that be better?
Peanut butter allergies?
That's
Nailed
quiet,
it.
quiet. You.
Just for one. maybe.
And of course, Calum CV, who I shouted out earlier, but want to keep shouting out.
All right. So we did all the shout outs. Yeah. Did I step over anyone else?
No. Cora.
I mean, people step
Cora.
over me all the time. I'm very
Shout
small.
out to Cora for doing the DreamHack.
Yeah.
I'll shout
She
her out.
anchored DreamHack, not just
There you go.
casted. She did awesome.
Yeah.
So proud. Speaking of Cora, you can find her on Twitter at songbird_HS. She sometimes throws up Twitch live. I can't
Streams?
make it through this Wednesday.
Streams.
She streams on Twitch at Songbird Cora. Someone want to help save me?
Don't worry, Kenny. It's almost over.
So,
Almost.
Ridiculous Hat, where can people find you?
You can find me anywhere where the word Ridiculous Hat can be typed, including Twitter. Just type in @Ridiculous Hat, I'll be there. Go to Twitch, type in Ridiculous Hat, I will be there on Mondays and Thursdays. Go to Discord and type in Ridiculous Hat, and I will respond as soon as I can, unless I'm podcasting, in which case it'll have to wait a couple hours.
I'll be there.
About Appa.
You can follow me on Twitter at Appa_HS. You used to be able to follow me on Twitch, like Monday through Thursday. No, Monday through Friday.
Friday. Man.
I mean, every Friday should be Friday. Let's be real.
Yo.
But my schedule's in kind of purgatory right now because I just got hired at a movie theater, and I'm waiting to get like schedule and stuff done. So once that's taken care of, I'll have like solid schedule back up and running. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitch at APAHS, no underscore there, but underscore in Twitter.
I've got all my coachings added to my calendar now, and my wife was like, you sent me some invites? I was like, yeah, you need to know when I coach. This is my time for my peeps. And she's like, okay. Well, at least she's in the know now instead of, oh, hey, by the way, I have a coaching today. So she can kind of plan around it. So I'm glad I finally got that set up. Hey, Cinder, what about you?
Yo, I'm on Twitter and Twitch at Cinder Ascendant. You should definitely follow my Twitch because I'm doing cool things. On this past Sunday, I started streaming the Genesis Classic Phantasy Star 4.
Whoa.
Excellent game.
Whoa.
Yeah, you should definitely come watch that. I might also stream some Hearthstone occasionally, and also I'm gonna throw an extra one out to twitch.tv/Team Hearth League because I am going to be casting Friday Night Fights for them every Friday night for the foreseeable future.
We booked Cinder?
You sure did.
That's pretty
Like
exciting.
it's official now. I'm just doing it.
I'm not gonna say I had a hand in that, but I'm gonna say I'm very grateful it happened.
I already casted last week and it was awesome. We're gonna do it again.
All right.
Appa.
I forgot what I was going to say. It was going to be something witty and funny to me. And then I lost it.
Well,
All right.
I'm lucky.
I'll point out that Craptasm said shout out to Cinder's puppy. I think that is important.
Yes. This is Gypsy Moon Coconut Butter.
Excuse me?
Yeah, that is her name, Gypsy Moon Coconut Butter. It's a proper long dog name. And she is my spoiled child. And she's been sitting in my lap quietly for about a half an hour.
She looks like an excellent sleeper.
Yeah, she likes to sleep in the bed.
I would show Agent Frank, but he's in the living room with Taylor. Because she has a weird thing about being on the webcam.
Cool.
All right. So that leaves me. Everyone else is taken care of.
Yeah.
I've been stepping all over everyone today, so I'm just making
Oh,
sure.
shit.
So I'm also KCCO_gamer, Twitter, Twitch. Yeah. Let's head on out of here. I'm ready to go. So keep calm and dive on. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
Take cold comfort in your victory. You win. I can rest now. You win. For now. Now, your victory proves nothing. triumph. This time, this hunt is yours.